Welcome back to Coco Gossip, the only channel that dares to dig deeper, to connect the dots, and to expose the secrets the powerful and famous want to keep buried. Tonight, we have a story so audacious, so brazenly criminal, it will make everything you've ever seen on Sisterwives feel like child's play. We are moving past family drama and into the realm of hardcore felony. The story involves a frantic 911 call, a ransacked apartment, and a crime so specific, so targeted, that it could only have been an inside job. We have an insider report that alleges Kody and Robyn Brown, consumed by paranoia and fear of exposure, staged a break-in at Janelle Brown's apartment in a desperate, bungled attempt to steal the one thing that could bring their house of cards crashing down forever, the proof of their financial crimes. If you are tired of the lies and believe the truth must come out no matter the cost, then prove it. Hit that subscribe button right now, ring the bell for all notifications, and give this video a like to show you stand for justice. You are about to become a juror in a case of greed, deception, and a cover-up so clumsy it will ultimately be their undoing. The dossier of deceit and the crime of desperation. To understand the sheer desperation that would lead a man to allegedly commit a felony against the mother of 6 of his children, we have to understand the threat she represented. Janelle Brown has always been the family's quiet engine. She was the steady hand, the consistent earner, the one who, for decades, understood the family's finances better than anyone, perhaps even better than Kody himself. While Christine was the heart and Mary was the original foundation, Janelle was the pragmatist, the bookkeeper, the one who could make the numbers work. And when a pragmatist finally decides they've had enough, they don't just leave with their emotions, they leave with the receipts. And we mean that quite literally. As Janelle began to emotionally and physically separate from Kody, our sources allege she began a monumental task. She was quietly, methodically, and meticulously compiling a dossier. A complete financial history of the Brown family. This wasn't just about preparing for a divorce. This was about arming herself for the battle of her life. She knew, better than anyone, where the money came from and, more importantly, where it had gone. For years, she had watched the family's shared pot, her income, her hard work being mysteriously drained, siphoned off to support one wife's lavish lifestyle while her own children were told to tighten their belts. This box, this simple cardboard box, was her leverage. It was her justice. And for Kody and Robyn, it was a ticking time bomb. So what was in this dossier of deceit, as we're calling it? Our exclusive theories, based on insider whispers, suggest it contained the kind of proof that could unravel their entire empire. Think about it. Coyote pass. Irregularities. We're talking about the initial down payment. Where did every dollar for that $820,000 purchase truly come from? Janelle, who contributed significantly to the family's income for years, would have had the records to trace it. Did the numbers add up, or was there a secret infusion of cash from, say, a liquidated asset that the other wives weren't told about? The polygamy profit funnel. The family's income from the show and their various side hustles was supposed to go into a central family account. But was it? Janelle's records could allegedly show a pattern of money being diverted into separate private LLCs controlled by Kody and Robyn long before the family officially fractured. This is the paper trail of the family's financial separation, which we now know began years before the emotional one. My Sisterwife's closet black hole. Remember Robyn's ill-fated jewelry business? It was a notorious sinkhole for family funds. Janelle's dossier would have contained the exact figures. How much of Janelle's and Christine's income was poured into that failing venture with no return on investment? We're talking potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars of family money vanished into a business that seemingly produced nothing but debt. The secret trust connection. And here's where our previous investigation connects. If Kody was using the Wynn Brown family legacy trust as collateral or commingling those funds, Janelle's meticulous records of the family's loan applications and financial statements might just hold the clues to that scheme. A sudden approval for a loan they shouldn't have qualified for, an asset listed on a bank application that didn't belong to the family entity, Janelle would have spotted it. Now, imagine you're Kody and Robyn. You're living in your $1 million home, enjoying the fruits of a plural family's labor. The other wives have left, but you've managed to keep the bulk of the assets. You think you're in the clear, but then you get the word. Janelle isn't just leaving, she's hired a forensic accountant. She's not just asking for her share, she's demanding a full accounting of the last 30 years. The panic must have been immediate and overwhelming. A report from a source who was in contact with a Brown family member during this period describes the atmosphere in Kody and Robyn's home as a pressure cooker of paranoia. The source alleges that Kody was heard ranting, "She's gonna ruin us, she'll twist everything. That box, she has everything in that bond." The focus of their terror wasn't on the emotional fallout of the divorce. It was on that simple, unassuming box of documents. They weren't afraid of losing a wife, they were afraid of going to jail. So, a desperate plan was allegedly hatched. A plan born of arrogance and utter foolishness. They couldn't ask for the box back. That would be an admission of guilt. They couldn't risk her lawyer getting a subpoena for it. According to our exclusive theory, they decided they had to take it. And they had to make it look like a random act of violence, a common crime that would make Janelle a victim. Distracting everyone from the real motive, they decided to stage a burglary. Let's walk through the night of the alleged crime. According to our source's timeline, Janelle was out of town for the weekend, visiting her daughter Maddie and her grandchildren in North Carolina. A fact she had casually mentioned in a family text chain, a fact Kody and Robyn would have been keenly aware of. This was their window of opportunity. The apartment was empty, the prize was unguarded. This wasn't a professional job. These weren't seasoned criminals. These were allegedly a desperate reality TV star and his favored wife, playing a role they were ill-suited for. They forced the door, a crude and noisy entry that would have woken the dead. Once inside, they executed their plan with the subtlety of a sledgehammer. The goal was to create the illusion of chaos. They tossed the place, making it look like a frantic search for valuables. But their singular focus betrayed them. They walked past an iMac. They ignored a brand new 65-inch television. They left behind a pearl necklace sitting in plain sight. They made a direct line for Janelle's small home office, for the closet where she kept her files. They grabbed the banker's ball, the one thing of no monetary value to a common thief, and they fled into the night. The perfect crime, they thought. A lie sealed in a staged scene of violence and violation. They had the evidence. They were safe. Or so they believed. The story, as the world would know it, began the next day. A frantic, tearful phone call from Janelle Brown to the Flagstaff Police Department. She had returned home to find her sanctuary violated, her life turned upside down. When police arrived, they saw exactly what Kody and Robyn wanted them to see. A classic break-in, a messy, chaotic scene. Janelle was distraught, as any victim would be, but as the initial shock wore off, both for Janelle and for the lead investigator, a seasoned detective with 20 years on the force, the narrative began to fray at the edges. The lie began to unravel. The untouched valuables. This was the first and most glaring red flag. Detective Miller, in his initial walkthrough, immediately noted the discrepancy. He saw thousands of dollars in high-end electronics sitting there, easy to grab and easy to pawn. In his experience, burglars are opportunists. They take what's easy and valuable. They don't leave a laptop to steal a box of paper. And as the detective voiced his suspicions, the fog of victimhood began to clear for Janelle. She did a mental inventory. Her TV was there. Her computer was there. Her mother's jewelry was untouched. And then, a chilling realization. She walked to her office closet, and her heart sank. The box, her dossier, her leverage, it was the only thing missing. At that moment, our source says, Janelle knew. This wasn't a random act. This was a message. This was a targeted strike. And there were only two people in the world who feared the contents of that box enough to commit a crime to get it. Janelle kept her suspicions to herself. For now, she played the part of the confused victim for the police. But her mind was racing. They had made a mistake. They had been too specific, too targeted. But suspicion is not proof. Kody and Robyn would deny it, call her crazy, and use her accusation as further proof that she was an unhinged, bitter ex-wife. She needed something more. She needed irrefutable evidence. She needed to catch them in their lie. And then a breakthrough, a stroke of luck that the arrogant perpetrators could never have anticipated. While commiserating with her next-door neighbor, the neighbor mentioned something that made the hair on Janelle's arms stand up. "Oh, I just got one of those new doorbell cameras last week," the neighbor said. "It's been acting a little sensitive, recording everything that moves across my lawn. Let me check it, maybe I saw something." And there it was, a file time-stamped Sunday, 2:17 a.m. Motion detected. A long, 2-minute recording. Janelle's heart pounded in her chest. This was it. The entire case, her entire future, could be resting on this single pixelated video file. With trembling hands, she and her neighbor tapped play. The figures move into the frame, their faces covered by masks and the shadows of their hoodies. For a moment, they are just anonymous phantoms in the night. It could be anyone. But Kody and Robyn, in their amateurish attempt at a criminal enterprise, made a series of small, stupid, but ultimately catastrophic mistakes. They got the box, but they left behind a digital witness. A witness that was about to expose their entire conspiracy. Janelle Brown, the quiet, pragmatic wife who had finally had enough, was the victim of a bizarre and targeted burglary. Her apartment was ransacked, yet thousands of dollars in valuables were left untouched. The only thing stolen was a single box of financial documents. A dossier we believe contained 30 years of the Brown family's financial secrets. A dossier that could prove a pattern of fraud and deception orchestrated by Kody and Robyn Brown. Just as Kody and Robyn thought they had committed the perfect crime, we learned of a silent witness, a neighbor's brand new doorbell camera that had recorded the entire event. Janelle, with her neighbor by her side, was about to press play on a video file that she suspected would contain the proof she needed. Proof that this was no random break-in. Proof that the monsters weren't strangers in the night. They were family. We now show you what we believe that camera saw. This is the smoking gun. The digital witness and the ultimate reckoning. The video begins. For the first few seconds, there is only the quiet, suburban stillness of a Flagstaff night. Then, two figures shuffle into the frame from the right. They are exactly as we described, cloaked in dark, baggy hoodies and wearing generic blue surgical masks. They move with a nervous, amateurish energy, not the fluid confidence of professional criminals. They are clumsy. They whisper to each other, but the camera's microphone doesn't pick up the words, only the sibilant, panicked sounds. The taller figure, who we theorize is Kody, is carrying a small crowbar. He approaches Janelle's door and begins to work on the frame. It's an awkward, ugly process. He's putting his whole body into it, leveraging his weight. The second, smaller figure, who we allege is Robyn, stands behind him, nervously looking left and right, a caricature of a lookout. And then it happens. The first catastrophic mistake. As the Kody figure gives a particularly violent wrench with the crowbar, the sleeve of his baggy hoodie rides up his left arm for just 2 seconds. And there, under the harsh infrared light of the security camera, is a glint of metal. It's unmistakable to any longtime viewer of the show. It's his signature piece of jewelry, the one he is almost never seen without. A large, almost comically oversized, silver-toned watch with a thick metal band. We have cross-referenced this image with hundreds of hours of show footage and personal photos. It is, in our expert opinion, a perfect match for Kody Brown's distinctive timepiece. He might as well have worn a name tag. In his arrogance, in his belief that a simple hoodie would make him invisible, he overlooked the one detail that would tie him directly to the scene of the crime. The footage continues. The door finally splinters open and the two figures slip inside. For the next 90 seconds, the camera records an empty doorway, then they re-emerge. The Robyn figure is now struggling to carry the unassuming banker's box. It's clearly heavy, filled with the weight of 3 decades of secrets. They hurry away, moving back in the direction they came from. They think they are home free, but they are about to make their second and final mistake. The doorbell camera's motion sensor was set to high sensitivity. It didn't stop recording when the figures left the porch. It kept rolling, capturing their entire escape route. They run to a vehicle parked about 50 yards down the street under a flickering streetlight. A vehicle that was chosen, no doubt, because they thought it would be inconspicuous. But they were wrong. It's a dark-colored, late-model minivan. As the Robyn figure opens the sliding side door to shove the box inside, the interior dome light flashes on for a brief moment, and the camera captures the silhouette. It's her. It's Robyn's minivan. The very same mom mobile we have seen her use for school runs, for shopping trips, and for fleeing plural marriage. The getaway car for their ill-conceived felony was the family van. The absurdity would be laughable if the crime itself weren't so serious. The video ends. The screen goes black. In the space of 2 minutes and 17 seconds, Kody and Robyn Brown allegedly went from reality television stars to prima facie criminal conspirators. They left behind a digital trail of breadcrumbs, the watch, the van, that led directly back to their million-dollar front door. Our source close to Janelle describes this moment as a profound turning point. The hurt and violation she felt were real, but seeing the sheer bumbling incompetence of their crime, seeing the proof of their betrayal in such clear, undeniable detail, flipped a switch. The fear was gone, replaced by a cold, righteous anger. What did she do next? Did she call Kody and scream at him? Did she forward the video to the other family members to expose him? No, she did something far smarter. She did not act like a wife, she acted like a plaintiff. She picked up her phone and called her divorce lawyer. This is where the story moves from a criminal investigation to a masterclass in legal leverage. Janelle and her lawyer now possessed what is known in legal circles as the keys to the kingdom. They had evidence of multiple felonies. Let's break down the potential charges Kody and Robyn were now facing. According to a legal expert we consulted for this report, burglary of a dwelling. In Arizona, this is a Class 3 felony. It involves entering someone's home with the intent to commit a theft or any other felony. The potential prison sentence is years. Theft. While the monetary value of the papers is negligible, the act of taking property that isn't yours is still a crime. Criminal damage. For breaking the door and the door frame. Obstruction of justice. This is the big one. By stealing documents they believed were going to be used in a legal proceeding, the divorce, they were actively trying to impede the course of justice. Criminal conspiracy. Because our theory involves two people planning and executing the crime together, they could both be charged with conspiracy to commit all of the above. Kody and Robyn were no longer just facing an ugly divorce. They were facing the very real possibility of criminal prosecution, public humiliation, and prison time. The financial dossier they stole was now completely irrelevant. The crime wasn't what was in the box. The crime was stealing the box. The cover-up had become infinitely worse and infinitely more powerful than the original crime. A meeting was arranged, not between Kody and Janelle, but between their Janelle's attorney didn't make threats. He didn't raise his voice. He simply slid a single high-resolution color printout across the table. It was a still frame from the doorbell camera, zoomed in on Kody's wrist, the silver watch gleaming under the infrared light. Our source says Kody's lawyer stared at the photo for a full minute, the color draining from his face. He then looked up and said just 5 words. What does she want? That was the moment the war ended. It was an unconditional surrender. Janelle had them and they knew it. The negotiation for the divorce was over before it even began. It was no longer about a fair and equitable distribution of shared assets. It was about Kody and Robyn buying Janelle's silence. It was about her naming her price in exchange for not forwarding that video file to the Flagstaff County District Attorney's office. So what did she want? Our inside sources have helped us piece together the alleged terms of this hush money settlement. It was swift, it was brutal, and it was absolute. A massive, immediate payout. Janelle didn't want a long, drawn-out division of property. She wanted a clean break and a massive check. We are told she demanded a sum that represented not just her share of the family's assets, but a significant premium for the emotional distress and the criminal act committed against her. We're talking a figure in the high 6, possibly even 7 figures. Kody was allegedly forced to liquidate other assets and drain his savings to pay her off immediately. This would explain the sudden financial pressures we've seen him under, pressures that seem to go beyond a typical divorce. The Coyote Passland. We have a specific theory that Janelle demanded and received full, unencumbered title to her designated lots at Coyote Pass, free and clear. Not just the right to build, but the deed itself. This would give her a tangible, valuable asset that she could either sell immediately for cash or hold as an investment, completely untangled from Kody and Robyn's control. She took a piece of their kingdom right out from under them. An ironclad NDA. Here's the crucial part. Kody and Robyn's lawyers would have insisted on a non-disclosure agreement. But this wasn't a typical celebrity NDA. Our sources allege this was an NDA of a lifetime, a document so restrictive it essentially bound Janelle from ever speaking about, hinting at, or cooperating in any investigation related to the events of Sunday, 2:17 a.m. This document is why this story has remained a secret. It's why Janelle has never publicly accused them of this crime. They paid a fortune not for the assets but for her silence. The video file became her insurance policy locked away in a digital vault. Look at Janelle now. She is thriving. She is traveling. She is spending time with her children and grandchildren. She is financially secure and independent. Her victory wasn't just in leaving Kody. It was in the manner of her leaving. She didn't just walk away. She walked away with the power. She knows what they did, and they know that she knows. It is the ultimate checkmate. She will never have to worry about them again because she holds a secret that could destroy their lives at any moment. This entire sordid affair gives us the clearest possible window into the souls of Kody and Robyn Brown. It reveals a level of paranoia and moral decay that is truly staggering. Their guilt over their financial dealings, the alleged funneling of family money, the secret trust we exposed in our last investigation, was so overwhelming that they became convinced Janelle's documents would lead to their ruin. And in their panic, they chose to commit a crime that was exponentially more dangerous. Their arrogance was their undoing. They underestimated Janelle. Seeing her as a passive, compliant wife, they could easily intimidate. They never imagined she would have the foresight to gather evidence, the strength to stand up to them, or the luck to have a digital witness fall into her lap. They saw themselves as master manipulators, the heroes of their own story, but the doorbell camera revealed them for what they truly are. Two clumsy, frightened people in hoodies, committing a desperate crime in the dead of night. They are not patriarchs and queens. They are common criminals. In the end, Janelle didn't need the box. She didn't need the 30 years of receipts or the forensic accountants. Kody and Robyn, in one foolish criminal act, gave her something far more valuable, undeniable proof of their character. Proof that there is no law they won't break, no line they won't cross to protect their gilded cage. The story of the staged break-in is the final chapter in the myth of the Brown family. It proves that this was never about faith or family. It was about money, control, and a level of greed so profound that it led them to cannibalize their own. Janelle Brown walked away from a broken man and a shattered dream, but she walked away with her integrity, her freedom, and a quiet, devastating power that she earned on the night her family tried to make her a victim and instead accidentally turned her into a queen. This is, without a doubt, one of the most shocking theories we have ever investigated here at Coco Gossip. And while we must reiterate that this is an exclusive theory based on insider reports, the pieces fit together with chilling precision. What do you think? Do you believe this is the secret behind Janelle's quiet confidence and financial freedom? Do you believe Kody and Robyn were capable of such a crime? Let me know your verdict in the comments below. If you believe these stories need to be told, and that the truth, no matter how ugly, deserves a platform, then make sure you have subscribed to Coco Gossip, like this video, and have rung that notification bell. We are already working on our next investigation, and it involves a secret medical diagnosis that was hidden for years and used to manipulate the entire family. You won't want to miss it. Thank you for watching.